So all the screws are removed from the back plate and whatever this is called that I believe holds the heat sink onto the processor and applies pressure. Now I'm just going to separate the card. And I just apply kind of even pressure, prying on the top, a little bit towards the bottom. And you're not going to pull it all the way apart because there's some cables holding it together. So you're just going to get it started and just kind of work at it, getting separated. You can take this thing off, but this cover that goes over the display ports, but I'd rather not because it actually is kind of nice to hold, to just hold everything in place when we put it back together. Alright, so that's nice and separated. So now I'm going to work on getting these things out, these connectors off. So what I like to do is take some tweezers and pull the wires from the top while using a flat edge of a screwdriver to pry off this little I don't know, fastener that goes on there. So yeah, I take the tweezers, I get the wires. I'm going to pry a little bit and give some pressure with the tweezers. And there we go. That's one. So there's 3 here, and there's one more black one. These are nice and color-coded. Blue, blue, beige, beige, black, black. So when you go to put it back together, it's nice and easy. Alright, so I'm just pulling these out. Alright, so there's those 3, and now, I can't remember, this one's a little tricky. You gotta like, okay, yeah, it's right there. You can sort of let gravity do some work for you. Once we get it, where is it? How do I do this? Okay, yeah. So I'll just lay this down here, and I'll get in there with the screwdriver. The flat edge there. It's really not easy to get to. Thanks a lot, guys. Alright, and there is, yeah, okay, so I can just hold this, and I am grounded, by the way, if any electronics experts are wondering. There we go. Just pry that off of there. So now, here we have the circuit board. This is the heatsink part. And so all I really care about, the main problem with the heat is here on this, these memory chips. So that's where I'm going to focus all the cleaning and cleanup and modding. So this is the copper mod that will go on here, and so I'm just going to get right into cleaning. This is a nice little card that came with some of the tin I bought, or the Thermal paste, yeah. For some reason, I'm not finding my words right now. Oh well. Okay. And so this is old thermal paste, I guess. It's not really a thermal pad. One of the things people do is they do thermal pad replacements, and so they'll put thermal pads right over the old whatever that stuff was, and put those over the memory or the you know, the VRAM. So that's, well, it's not completely cleaned, but that's and yep, that just comes right off of there. That's my system. Coffee filters. I read around online, like what people use for cleaning circuit board stuff, and they said coffee filters. So I ordered some coffee filters. Alright, and so I'm just scraping it off as much as I can before I get into using other consumables like the coffee filters and the isopropyl alcohol. I've got 70% here at it, you know, 70% or higher percentage of alcohol is what you want. I would have probably gone higher if they had it at the place where I was shopping, but they didn't. So some people prefer 70% over 80 or 90%. And because the lower percentages will evaporate slower, so the idea there is the more time you have with something that's a liquid, you can use it more as a cleaner, and the higher stuff evaporates faster. So you got to be fast, and maybe with the lower percentage stuff, you can just kind of take your time. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so yep, just scraping off whatever I can get off here. This out of there. Alright, and this is another card I got for cleaning stuff up, so use that a little bit. And yeah, just getting as much as of that stuff off.
I got like recently the one that you wear and you're nice.
Okay, so just a little commercial break there. Let's see what else I can get out of here. So this is about this. Yeah, I've done this on a few cards. So this isn't my first rodeo here, as they say. So. This isn't the first card that I've done this to. I've got a few others, so I've had a little practice. I know which screws to take off and a little bit about what I can get away with. I've done varying, you know, I'm a human, so there's some variance in how this stuff gets applied, and I know the second card I did wasn't as good as the first, and so I thought for sure that was why I was seeing some differences there, maybe some higher temperatures on the second card. But as I continued to add cards into a rig, it got warmer and warmer. And so the logic there is, of course, there's just more heat in a small area. So I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, and that's, just doing as good as I can with getting this stuff cleaned up. And then putting it in the machine and testing it out. So I was going one by one, and I think I'm going to go 2 by 2 after this and just get it done. But yeah, life is good. Just getting this stuff cleaned up. And why not? They gave me some cleaner stuff, so I think I'll use that. Grease cleaner, number 1, number 2. So I'm going to use the wet wipe first. Get in here, clean this stuff up. Yeah, it's pretty nasty stuff there. And usually this stuff is a little washed out looking and gray. It's not as pristine and shiny looking as we managed to get the CPU there in the middle, but that's okay. And once again, I am grounded. I don't have the ground strap on my wrist, I have it around my ankle, and I thought that was a pretty good move because my hand doesn't have some weird contraption hanging off of it, so it's pretty nice. And I tested the ground with a multimeter, so I know it's good. Yeah, just, living the glamorous tech life here. And there we go. Yep. I could have a little more light. I don't think it'll do much. Alexa, turn on my light. Yeah, that didn't do a whole lot, but hey, whatever. Take all the light I can get. And so now I'm just gonna give this stuff a good buff. Let's get all buffed up. And I'm really not concerned as much with the GPU in the middle, because the things that really get hot are these memory chips here. So this particular card is a 12, so there'll be 12 of these things. There's 4, 8, 11, 12. So yep. I was working on some other ones that were 10, so and it was actually the 10 gig cards that were giving me problems. I don't know, maybe they did something better on these 12 gigs and kind of made it not fail as much, but for sure I was failing miserably on the 10 gig cards. Just something in those 10 gig cards was not able to dissipate enough heat, and so I found out about these copper plates, and Bob's your uncle. So now I'm going to move on to applying some thermal paste. Pretty good, pretty satisfied with the level of cleaning here. And I actually really wish I would have gotten more thermal paste than what I started out with. I guess, you know, all these chips add up, and then plus you got to put it on to the copper part. You'll see that later. All right. So here we go with this deal. All right. That's there. Okay. And now I'm going to apply the paste to these guys. This SYY thermal paste I'm using is allegedly 15, what is it? Oh, it's printed right on here too. 15 WMKH. I'm going to guess that's like 15 watts, millimeters Kelvin or something like that. Basically how much heat it can transfer. And by comparison, the Grizzly Cryonaut, or whatever it is like 13 or 14. So this is supposedly a little bit better. The reviews I've seen people say they don't like about it is how it spreads, and you can see it's quite viscous. I would say, I think is the right term, where it's not real liquidy. It's kind of firm, and what will happen is it'll start kind of peeling up and get hard to work with. So like you'll go to try to spread it, and then it'll just peel up off of what you just tried to spread it over. So they say it's good like after you spread it to let it sit for 15 minutes, but you also want to get it spread onto your target fairly quick. So that it's not just, overly dried up. And so, it's going on pretty nice right now. I'm kind of getting lucky because you guys are watching. Or maybe it's because it's a fresh pack or something. That's not too bad. But I saw some spots on the central processing unit that I'm really not worried about. But at the same time, I just don't like to leave spots that look, bare to me. But this is probably pretty good right there. So I'm going to move on from that one. Come over here. Try to get this spread. Has my luck run out? Not really. Not too bad there. And really, I should be a little more confident with this 12-bit card because it was already doing pretty good. But, I could be wrong. Could be, maybe they did something good on these new ones, and maybe I'm breaking it by even trying to go in here, since there wasn't really too much of a problem compared to the 10 gig. Well, I take that back. The temperatures were still really high. And what I've seen on the 10 gigs, temperatures, I've definitely improved the temperature performance on the 10 gigs. They were, the memory, the VRAM was going over 100, and now it's not over 100. It's more like, I don't know. I would say, I do know because I've been watching it. It's like low 80s. So that's fantastic. Great to see. Okay, and maybe a little more here. Yeah, this is a little naked. A little slim there. Okay, that's probably good. think I've about got this one covered. Ha ha ha, you get it? Covered? Anyways. I don't know, that shouldn't even be considered a joke. But anyways, yeah. Okay. So, moving on. Just gonna bring off my little pad here. And I have this ready. Yeah, I did wipe this off previously, so I'm just going to get right in here, get it on here. And so you see the 1 goes with the 1, the 3 goes with the 3, and the 4 and the 4 are all lined up. And I'm just going to align this here, and it just kind of fits nice and snug. And you just push it down there. Give it a nice press evenly around there. And now we can take, I do want to kind of clean this one up a little bit more though. Okay. And now I'm going to put more of the, oh shoot, I should have saved that. That's what I said. Okay, anyways. I was going to say I should have saved that paste that was on there to go onto this thing. And this is, again, this is like where you really eat up some of this paste. So this is done. And now I'm just going to go around and spread it nice here. And I'm already like, dang, you really, this is supposedly 4 grams, 8 grams, yeah, I could have used, like, I mean, if we do 2 of these things per card, how did I go through that so quickly? I really can't tell you, but I've got a buddy, and he's hooking me up with some thermal paste, allegedly. So hopefully that works out, and that will be awesome. So yep, just gonna spread this out here. This spread nice all around here. All right, getting close here to putting this back together. Kind of went a little too big some here. That's another thing, like when I was taking this apart, or when I was taking it out of the machine, I found just big globs of this gray stuff, not from me, but from you know, just from the manufacturer like that. So that was a little kind of weird and disappointing. It's disappointing that the user actually has to do this, you know, or do something as simple as this when it could be engineered maybe just a little bit better and come this way from the manufacturer. That's my opinion. I'm sure it costs a little bit more money, but it's like they're already doing this stuff. If they just put maybe a little better effort into it, it could be vastly improved. But hey, I can't tell other people how to suck eggs. They gotta suck those eggs for themselves. So, yep, these connectors, just gonna make sure they're out of the way. I'm all pasted up here. It's hanging on there nice and snug, and so I'm gonna line up these 4 holes from this guy, and then this guy's gonna give me a nice start at holding this all together really nicely. All right. Yep. And I'm just gonna do the opposite ends of each side I start with. Alright. Okay. Just do a turn or 2. And then move over to the next one and bring it all together. And that's it. Oop, geez. Watch out for that. Don't go dragging a screwdriver across the circuit board. You might have a bad day. Alright, so that is as tight as those that's as tight as I can get those. Alright, so now I can put these back on. And me personally, I don't like RGB or LED lights all over the place. Thank you, engineers, and thank you so much for making it so easy to disable them. All I have to do is not put on that one connector that I was having such difficulty with. And who knows, maybe that saves me a little power or something. But I don't care about pretty lights. That's a gripe. That's a long-standing gripe I have with engineers and lights and annoying dings and buzzers, and that they don't give you the option of disabling. It's like, bruh, give me a break. Okay, so all those connectors are on. This guy's on. Now I can start putting this back on. Okay. Just lining up some holes. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Great. Let's go. That's the one. Okay. This is okay. That's good. Okay. That. And I don't really have an order. Well, I guess I do. I put on. I do this one last. As far as the rest of them in the order, I don't really care. Yeah, so the nice thing about leaving this thing on is it kind of leaves the rest of this like already aligned for how it goes together. Especially for this one and this one, because that's where that would screw into, and it's just nice to, for one thing, not to have to unscrew a bunch more screws, but for another thing, just to have it ready. And holding that one in place. I guess that's the big one. Is it holds that in place, and actually it keeps these other, because otherwise you have to align this and stuff, and it's like, why do that if you don't have to? All right, I have to look at this thing here. this is an easy one to get to. That's funny. Alright, so yeah, I can look at this here. Alright, it's not my day. This is a little more difficult than yesterday. Okay. There it is. Alright. There. Yay. Alright, so yeah, these ones with the nuts are a little harder to get going. Alright. So I've got 3 easy ones and 1 difficult one left. One, 2, 3. And then now I go in, get some extra light on here with my headlamp, get my tweezers ready. Get my screwdriver in place. And I position the nut. And oh, dang it. Okay. Position the nut. Oh, jeez, great. Come on. This is goddamn ridiculous. Alright. Position the nut. Drop in that screw. And then miss. Yeah, that sucked. Okay. Nope. Start all over. Gotta somehow fish a screw out here. Thank you, NVIDIA. Thank you, EVGA. You guys light up my life. God damn. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna find that. Let's see, did I get it? Oh my goodness. Amazing. Wow, job satisfaction. So that's it. Now it's all put together and it can go into the machine and we will look at that.